Guys, we need to talk about this story because the internet is going wild. A young girl who was reported missing on the 19th of August 2024 on her way to her IT has now been found dead and buried in the backyard of a church member. 21-year-old Christiana Idowu, a student of the Federal University of Agriculture in Abeokuta, was said to be doing her IT in Lagos. When she went missing, her IT location was believed to be in Yaba, Lagos. And when she left home that day on the 19th, it was believed that she was on her way to her IT place of assignment. But by the end of the day, nobody heard from her. The next thing the parents knew was somebody using her phone to chat them and letting them know that she had been kidnapped, and the person suddenly requesting 1 million naira. The kidnapper even went as far as taking a picture of her being tied up, showing that she was kidnapped, and the picture was a view once picture. You can only view it once and afterwards it disappears completely. To let the parents know for real that Christiana Idowu had been kidnapped, and if they don't send the money, the worst could happen. And this is a nightmare for every parent. This is a nightmare that you don't even want to wish it upon your worst enemy. And instantly, the parents came up with 300,000 naira. And that was how the kidnapper instructed them to pay the 300,000 naira into his betting account. One of those betting platform accounts. And it was said that they did so. Some sources are claiming he requested for 2 million. Some sources are saying 5 million. But it's widely reported that he requested about 1 million. But the family could only come up with 300,000 naira at the time. 350,000 naira to be precise. Now, the kidnapping happened on the 19th. That was when she went missing. And that was when they made a poster of her going around, hoping that somebody who saw something would say something. All the while, the family are chatting with this said kidnapper who was using her phone and trying to make arrangements to get her released. And I think they kept it on the low. So from the 19th to the 20th to the 21st to the 22nd and even up to the 23rd, the family of Christiana were communicating with the kidnapper, trying to negotiate, trying to find ways to pay up all the money. The parents are hoping for the release. They've been able to pay as much as they could. And somewhere around the 23rd of August, that was when they stopped hearing from this said kidnapper. That was when he stopped communicating with the family. And this got the family worried because they themselves assumed that paying the money or, negotiating with the kidnapper would secure the release of the girl. But that did not happen. And when the kidnapper stopped communicating with them, they reached out to the police. The police got involved immediately and investigation started. They first of all got the email address of the betting platform where the money was sent to this kidnapper. And that was when they were able to block the betting account. And that was where they were able to get some information about him, but not enough to maybe find him for sure. They also noticed that he also withdrew about 100,000 naira from the account before it was blocked completely. And I think at this point, the kidnapper figured that they were onto him. For him to realize that his betting platform or his betting account has been blocked, this is where he figured that they were coming for him. But the police had already gotten most information from that betting account, and that was all they needed to know who they were dealing with. They were able to get his BVN number, and they were able to get his identity to be a young 200 level student named Adeleye Ayomide. This was how quick they were to catch him. He didn't even think this through. That is the problem with some of these people. With his BVN, the game was already up. Them using that email address to find his betting account, to find his BVN, that was it for him. But the police also needed to tie him to this girl, because it is also possible that a kidnapper would be using someone else's detail for all of this. Eventually, they were able to use his name and his phone number, and they found out that he was friends with the victim, Christiana. They also found out that they went to the same church. Sources around the internet are also saying that Ayomide and Christiana were childhood friends and they grew up together, so they knew of each other, which made sense and which gave the police the confidence that, okay, this is the person that they are looking for. This is the kidnapper. His phone number was also tracked. His mobile phones were traced to Ikorodu in Lagos. That was when they knew that that was where he was. It is also possible that Christiana's phone line was also traced to that same location. At this point, the police were confident that this was the person they were looking for. Not only was it the same age range as Christiana, they were social media friends commenting on each other's posts. Police waited for the perfect time when he was home and they went straight to his father's house in Ikorodu to arrest him. He was then taken to the police station where it was said he confessed to killing Christiana Idowu and burying her in his father's compound. But as at the time of making this video, it hasn't been said or mentioned if the body has been exhumed. But we are hearing that he has confessed to killing her and burying her in his parents' home. His mobile phone was checked and everything were confirmed that he was the owner of the BVN. He was the one doing the phone call communication with the family. So this was not some other kidnappers using his medium to chat with the family. They confirmed it clearly that he was the one, way before he even confessed. I'm sure that he maybe was denying it the whole time, and then they found out and he had no other option than to say the truth. So this is where things get tricky with Adeleye Ayomide. When people heard that he was the one behind the disappearance and the now murder and killing of Christiana Idowu, they started going through his social media. And a lot of things started coming out about this boy. People are now suspecting that he might be a serial killer, citing that somewhere around 2018, an ex-girlfriend of his had gone missing in a similar manner. And they also discovered that his younger sister also died, strangely, in a way that did not make sense to anyone. They also saw a post on Twitter that proves that he knew and had something to do with the death of his sister, which he confessed to and agreed to, or he was told that if he was given a chance to bring somebody back or fix something from the past or 10 million naira, he agreed to go back in time to undo what he did that caused the death of his sister. And because of this post, a lot of people are believing that Ayomide might be a serial killer. And to be honest, I don't doubt it. There's a possibility there. But my only question is, how did Christiana end up in Ikorodu in his house? What could have happened? I didn't get to see the police talk about the conversation between the two of them. But since or given the fact that they are childhood friends, they know each other, they go to the same church, I can see Christiana saying, okay, let me go and pay a visit to a friend. Let me go and see this my friend. And since it was in his parents' house, she most likely felt safe. I would feel safe going to visit somebody in their parents' family house, because I'm assuming since your mom and dad, they are there, or your siblings, you would not hurt me. And I think that was her mentality. However, how this boy was able to carry out kidnapping, it's also possible because words are saying she was also forcefully assaulted, sexually assaulted, and then eventually killed and buried. For him to do all these things in his family house, it's suspicious in my opinion. I mean, where was your dad? Where was your mom? He has both parents alive from what we're hearing. He also has siblings. So how big is the family house, or how small is the house? Or were they involved in it? Did they know about this? Did they know that this is what he was doing? It's honestly very bizarre, or it's very rare. It's very weird that this could go on in a family home and no one else knew about it. I don't believe it. We're seeing stories where people's children are committing serious crimes and the family, whether it's a pastor or a pastor's wife, are busy helping and hiding their children from the police because they know what their children have done. So how does this young boy lure a young girl, not a child, a grown-up girl who is 21, to his family's own, to his father's house, tie her up, lock her up, forcefully have his way with her, kill her, and then bury her? You know, this reminded me of that Ini Umoren story we covered years ago. This was the same thing. She was lured with a job into the boy's father's house. But for that one, the man had a big house. He had an uncompleted building. It was a big house. So I can see why or how. And the family, his siblings were rarely around. So I see the chance and I see the possibility on how this would happen. But this is Ikorodu. I would assume the place this boy lives is not that secluded. Somebody would have seen Christiana in. And if the boy lived with his family, like the police said that when they came to arrest him, his family were home, then how would they not have known or seen this? It's very possible, my dear. What am I even questioning? It's very possible. We've seen it happen multiple times. It's something we would think, oh, how would it happen? But we're seeing it happening. But in the case of demanding ransom, 1 million naira and all of that, it's tricky. I like to believe somebody knew about it, given his past, given the fact that it seems all fingers pointing that he may have done this before. And obviously, we know that there was no way that Christiana would have made it out of that boy's house alive because they knew each other. So even after collecting the ransom, this boy knew from the onset that he was going to kill this girl. This is a serial killer. This is not a case of kidnapping. Let's get something right here. When you want to kidnap somebody, you go for who don't know you. For you to kidnap somebody that you know and they know you back and they know people who know each other, your chances of surviving is gone. This is a case of murder. You're most likely dying, because if they collect the ransom and release you, you're going to go out and tell. You're going to speak, and you're going to blow their cover up, and nobody wants that. So the moment it was clear that Christiana was kidnapped by somebody she was familiar with, someone she knew, someone that people know, they have mutual friends together, that was it for her. That was just, unfortunately, the end for her. This boy was going to kill her. It's not like the Inu case where they did not know each other prior. This was just a random girl from the internet, and we heard that the boy has been doing it to other girls, but he would take videos and threaten them to keep their mouth shut. But for this one, they knew each other. She trusted him. He was a church member. Some sources are saying they may have been in a relationship. I doubt. I don't know. It's not stated. But I like how the police were swift and how they were quick to catching him. I wished the family had included the police earlier on to, when they were paying that money into his and yeah, sure, it's possible that they took a while to raise the money. So, but if he has sent his email to send, that would have been quicker. That way they'll find him, get to the house, and maybe hopefully rescue her alive. That is my thoughts. He kept transferring. He transferred money from the girl's account to his own account, and that is enough blowing up of his cover. And I'm glad that he was stupid like that, because that makes it easy for the police to catch you. As it stands now, we've not heard anything if her body has been recovered. It's possible on the low, and no one else seemed to have been arrested with him. But we will be following the case. We'll be following the story to see if he had any accomplice, which I will be thinking is somebody in his family, because for him to do this in his family house, in his father's house, in Ikorodu, then there's a chance somebody was aware of it, but maybe did not know he would take it that far. But let's just see how it goes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification button, so whenever there's an update on this story, you'll be the first to get notified.